Hey Harry Potter fans, Peter Kenneth here. Welcome back to the Potter Collector channel, where we are a community of collectors. Welcome to the greenhouses at Hogwarts. Not really, but for today's video, I needed a place that had really good ventilation because we are doing Harry Potter resin crafts. Now, when it comes to resin crafts and resin molds, you want Sophie and Toffee. So you may have seen a few months ago where we did our very first Harry Potter resin crafts with Sophie and Toffee products. We built a platform 9 3/4 bookend and some other really fun items with their molds. So Sophie and Toffee has just launched a subscription service where every quarter you receive a new box filled with new molds and everything else that you need in order to make magical Harry Potter resin related craft products. Now this here is the very first in the subscription service called the Hogwarts Handicraft box, and it combines resin and wax seals and resin and cross stitching. So you get to explore a bunch of different crafts in one box. And what's great about the subscription boxes is they come with everything you need: resin, molds, needles, thread to create these magical crafts. All right, let's take a look at the box here. I would rather be at Hogwarts. But at least I feel like I'm in the greenhouses a little bit. Dobby has come to join us today, and there's also a Niffler, a Mandrake, and a Bowtruckle hidden somewhere behind me. So see if you can spot them. We see I would rather be at Hogwarts. We see Hogwarts Castle there, and the Sophie and Toffee logo on the side. When we open it up, it reveals this very cool print of the 4 Hogwarts houses and this paper, and then everything you will need inside. There's an instruction booklet. So let's quickly go through the instruction booklet and see what is included in the box. All right, what's in the box? We have the wax seal set molds, the handle for the wax seal, and then these are the molds. And one of the things that's cool about Sophie and Toffee, they don't just include like, oh, one wax seal mold and one cross-stitch mold. They're gonna give you a variety. So there are 6 different wax seal molds that you can use to create a wax seal. So we have Mischief Managed and the Sorting Hat, an owl post, a Hogwarts crest, the Order of the Phoenix, and is that the Ministry of Magic? I'm ashamed that I don't know. So those are the wax seal molds. There are also cross-stitch molds. So we have a sweater. That is gonna be really fun. So you can make a cross-stitched sweater. There's a circle pendant for like a keychain. There's an ornament, so you can make a cross-stitch ornament. And then a long one for a bookmark, I would assume, to create a bookmark cross stitch. I'm gonna be very interested to see how this all works. Obviously, we'll look at the instructions. But wait, there's more. Also included, we have open bezel charms, all Harry Potter themed. Included is 2-part epoxy resin. I'm gonna be using UV resin for the video to help speed up the process, but it comes with the 2-part epoxy resin. We have 2 different colored pigment dyes. That I'm assuming is gonna be for the wax seal handle. We also have UV resin, chunky glitter, magnets. We have wax in all 4 of the Hogwarts house colors. That's gonna be obviously for the wax seal. Cross-stitch thread, and Harry Potter design film. Packed with stuff, everything you need to create multiple things. You can do all of them if you want to. So the first thing we're gonna do is start with the wax seal mold, because this is gonna take some time to cure even under the UV light. Now, Sophie and Toffee sells a special starter kit, which has a UV light, some silicone mixing cups, and different scraper tools that you can purchase. You don't really need them for this. You will need some mixing cups as well as gloves. Definitely make sure you wear gloves when working with resin, as well as be in a well-ventilated area, because the fumes can get a little intense. And Sophie and Toffee sells everything that you will need. So if you want to purchase extra resin and other items, definitely check out the description down below. This is my UV resin from the previous kit, so we're gonna put that over here. And let's flip to the instructions. What's great is Sophie and Toffee has all of the measurements you need for the correct amount of resin, as well as video tutorials on the Sophie and Toffee official YouTube website. I'm very curious about these sewing templates to see how this works out, how it all comes together. Very curious. Let's start by mixing our resin. Now I'm assuming that this is dye for this wax seal right here. So the instructions say mix the epoxy resin, or in my case the UV resin, and use a scale for better accuracy. As I mentioned, all of the weights are right here. Then we want to mix slowly for at least 1 minute. Again, that's going to be for the epoxy resin, not for for the UV resin. All right, this has to fill up the wax seal handle until point number 1. So this point right there. And that's when you add a magnet, which is how you're gonna connect to the different wax seals once those are done. So we have our scale, and we want 30 grams of resin. In my case, UV resin. And I also just realized I'm quite literally in a sunroom, so I need to work quickly so that this UV resin does not harden faster than I want it to. I'm actually gonna cover it up until I'm ready to use it. So next we have these pigment dyes. Let's start with this orange color. I don't know how much to use, but I'm not sure if it matters. So we'll mix that up. It's like a dark orange. And then we'll put some yellow in there just to give that like swirl effect, wood grain. I don't wanna mix it too much. Now, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing, but we're just gonna swirl it just a little bit to give a nice swirly look. Okay, here we go. Let's pour the resin into the mold. And what's nice is this has a base, so you can just stand it off to the side somewhere. Let the UV light start doing its work, start curing that piece while we work on something else. Now we still have some resin in here, which should be enough to do one of the wax seals. So let's do one of those wax seals. And I'm also gonna use some of the mica powder from the previous box. This will give a nice shimmery effect. Looks like liquid gold or Felix Felicis. I love this. So what you do for the wax seals, Sophie and Toffee has included magnets in order to attach the wax seal to the wax seal handle. So I'll show you how this works. All right, so let's take a magnet, and I think you pour a little bit into the wax seal mold first. I'm gonna let this cure for just a little while so that the magnet doesn't sink to the bottom. So I'm just gonna give it a quick little shot under the UV light, and then place the magnet on top and cover the rest. All right, so let's let that cure. That's gonna be very cool looking. And while that is curing, let's get into the cross stitch molds. Now these I think we wanna make clear. So it says, after pouring the epoxy resin, ensure that you scrape off the extra resin on the pegs or use a cotton swab to remove the excess resin. Okay, so that makes sense. So you can easily cross stitch in the holes that it's gonna create. And then on this page, it shows you the different projects or designs that you can use for the different molds that are included. So we're gonna definitely do a sweater and maybe a bookmark. So let's just do clear resin, and we're gonna slowly pour into the mold and allow it to fill in all of the cracks. I think this might be enough. All right, let's put our sweater underneath the UV light and check. Yeah, I think this is done. Looks like I should have allowed that first layer to cure a little longer because we can see the magnet shining through, but I think this will still work as a wax seal. So let's put that aside. And this is still going a little bit. It's getting close. Let's open up this glitter and maybe do another wax seal with the glitter mixed in. How about the sorting hat? So let's just do clear resin and glitter and see what happens. I feel like I'm in potions class. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'm gonna add a lot of glitter in here just because why not? I'm loving this glitter mixture. It reminds me of an alchemy. Let's mix this all together. And into the sorting hat it goes. Now for this one, I'm just gonna put the magnet on the outside by using UV resin. I'm not gonna put the magnet on the inside of this one because I want that glitter to really shine through. Okay, that is gonna be an awesome wax seal. And that's what I mean. It's like you can really do and create whatever you wanna create. All right, let's get that ready for the UV light. And before I fill this one up with resin, I wanna see if this works. See if I did it correctly. It should be cured by now. The little pegs are popping out of the resin. Awesome, look at this. Cool sound. There are holes. Oh my gosh, you guys, there are holes. I can confirm there are holes in this sweater. Holy cow, this is awesome. Let's put this aside and then make this strip. So let's add the UV resin to this strip. Make sure all of the pegs are surrounded by the resin. All right, let's let that cure. And I think that our wax seal handle is done. Look at this, you guys, isn't this crazy? Oh, actually, no, wait. We can't pop it out just yet because we need to attach the magnet. So what we're gonna do is take a magnet and we're gonna have to make sure that the correct magnet side is facing up. So this side will have to be face up. so that it connects to the wax seal. So what we're gonna do, put this on the inside. Let's get glittery because we can change the top of the wax seal to be something different. And instead of the blue glitter, let's use this gold glitter. I think it'll match the wood handle a little bit better. Now all these little mixing cups and things that I'm using, these came from their starter kit box. Again, you don't need it for this set, but I will say that these little mixing cups do help, and they're made out of silicone. So you just cure any excess resin and it peels right out once it's cured. So it's super quick, super easy to clean up. That is gonna look really cool on top of our wax seal stamp. And this should be cured, as should this. Resin is seriously an amazing material, and you can just do whatever the heck you want with it. This is just absolutely genius. Like, who thinks of this? Who thinks about it? Sophie and Toffee thinks about it. I love this box. I love the creativity of it. Like, who would have thought? Oh yeah, make cross-stitch molds out of resin. And even better, make it Harry Potter. And let's take a look at this wax seal mold that we just did. This is that sorting hat one. You can't really see it, but what's cool is once we stamp, the sorting hat is going to appear. But I love that glitter on the inside. I think it's time to remove our handle from the mold. And I'm loving our decision to do this glitter top. Guys, look! We just made a wax seal, and on the inside is stamped Harry Potter. That was a fun surprise. Oh my word, so cool. And then the magnet is on the inside of here, and bloop, our wax seal is attached, and then you're gonna stamp that into the wax and reveal the Order of the Phoenix symbol. Here's our other wax seal. That is way too cool. Okay, we have got to try these wax seals out right now. Now it says to use a metal spoon, but I'm just gonna drip it onto the paper itself. And we're gonna attach the Order of the Phoenix. Let this sit for about 10 seconds. We just made that. We literally just made a wax seal out of resin. How awesome is that? Let's try the Hogwarts crest. All right, let's put that aside, let that set up. And then next will be the cross stitching, which are these items right here. Now I don't know if this set up long enough. I didn't let it set up long enough. That's why they say let it cool completely before removing the wax seal. But guys, it's the sorting hat. Let me tidy this up and then we'll move on to the cross stitching. As I was tidying up, I remembered that we have these charms that we can make. Let's do the sweater. Let's do the Mrs. Weasley sweater. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this tape and I'm gonna put it face down, and we're gonna do clear H and glittery outside. Again, it's like, it's resin. You can do whatever you want with it. So let's start with just the H itself. Now I'm sure many of you are more experienced at working with resin than I am, but this is a blast. And we're gonna use that bluish silver mixture again, that kind of alchemy mixture. So I'm gonna use this silicone tool to kind of guide the resin where it needs to be. The sun is not working with me right now. This was a bad place to do this. So let's put this under the UV light, even though it's got full sunlight. I moved the table out of the sun. Let's take a look at this very glittery Harry Potter sweater charm. Ridiculously cool. I mean, come on, this is so much fun. Even if you don't like crafts, just like creating something and it's all Harry Potter related, I definitely recommend that you give it a try. Here's our very glittery Harry Potter Mrs. Weasley sweater. So when it comes to cleanup, this was leftover UV resin. Put it under the UV light or put it in the sun, and then you're ready for your next project. Here are my quick thoughts about the whole resin process. The process is great for beginners, but don't expect to be perfect in whatever you create. So I'm definitely still a beginner when it comes to working with resin products. And there are some imperfections, which normally I would like go crazy about, like, oh my goodness, I've got to like throw it out and redo it again. Practice makes perfect when it comes to resin items. And these molds, this resin, this is something that you can do multiple times and really perfect your craft. Now it's time to use our cross-stitch patterns. All right, so the instructions say, refer to the template on page 8 and select the design you would like to start with. Now, I've never cross-stitched before, so this is gonna be a learning pattern for me. Let's do a Hufflepuff sweater because this looks really interesting. So we need black and yellow. It comes with 2 needles, which is great. So I'm gonna do my best. Again, I've never cross-stitched before, so let's see what happens. So using this pattern down here, let's start at the bottom here, and we're just gonna go every other hole and hope that I'm doing this correct. If I'm not, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. And I'm assuming I need to make like a knot or something in the back. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. That's the only negative to this, is if you don't know what you're doing, even by watching the tutorial videos, it's difficult to know exactly what to do if you've never done something like this. So one thing I would love to see in the future boxes from Sophie and Toffee are some better detailed instructions, just because I don't know if I should do a crisscross pattern, if I should go up and down, if I should go just into one hole and then out another hole. So let's just see what happens. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm not sure if I should have made the mold this clear color because you can see the thread behind it, but we're gonna see what happens. Let's go to this sleeve over here. There's another star up top. My hope is no matter what it looks like, that I'll get an A for effort and not a T for troll. That's what we have so far. It's not perfect. I made a mistake right up here. I know, I see it. But let's add some yellow and see how it turns out. Don't judge me, don't laugh at me. I mean, you can laugh if you want to. I do think that I should have made this a colored resin because then it would hide all of the thread on the back, but this is the best I could do for my first time. This is my first time ever doing cross stitching. So here is the Hufflepuff-ish sweater. So I don't know if you can make it out on camera, but I mean, it's there. So I think I could finish this up by adding some of the other colors, like maybe this metallic thread, or even the white might be cool. But this is just an idea of what you can do with this resin box. So there we have it. That was the latest Sophie and Toffee box. Not a bad start for someone who's never cross-stitched before. And then we made, again, those very cool wax seals and this magical sparkly charm. If you're a crafter, if you like Harry Potter, this is gonna be right up your Diagon alley. The next box from Sophie and Toffee is going to be the sorting hat. So it has a sorting hat theme. Not sure what that means, not sure what's inside, but pre-orders are now open for that, and you can save 50%. 50% right now if you pre-order as a subscriber. So if this is something that you're interested in, this is the time to do it. And you can use coupon SORTING to save an additional 10% off of your very first subscription box. When it comes to the Hogwarts box that I just showed you today, this is now for sale on their website. So it's not too late. If you saw this and you're like, I wish I had gotten in on that subscription, it's not too late. You can still purchase this exact box. Now, you can save some money on this box as well with coupon code HOGWARTS. That will save you 20% on this one here, as well as other Harry Potter items and crafts on Sophie and Toffee's website. Check the description down below for a link, as well as all of those coupon codes that I just mentioned. So what do you guys think? Is this something that would interest you? This, I think, is the perfect activity to do with friends, kids, grandkids, and it improves your skill. I mean, I had never worked with resin before the previous video with Sophie and Toffee, but now I feel like my skill with resin use is improving a little bit with this one here, especially with these charms. I mean, if you guys saw my first charms, they were not very good. This one is much better and really, really cool too. When it comes to cross stitching, that's gonna need some work. I'm gonna have to work on my cross stitch. These would be really difficult for me. So these must be like advanced, especially that Dobby one. That would be super hard to do. Well, thank you guys for joining me and crafting with me. It was fun to learn in the process. And then of course, fun to create these very, very cool things in the process. If you have any questions about Harry Potter or collecting, feel free to leave a comment down below. You can also join the Potter Collector community on Instagram at The Potter Collector or on Twitter at Potter Collector. Now it's time to like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, keep collecting. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, welcome. You can subscribe right up here. You can also look at some previously posted content down here. If you have any questions about Harry Potter books or collecting, please feel free to contact me. I'm always happy to help. But for now, I must go. See you next time.
Whoa! Where'd he go?